Hello, and welcome back to Umineko When They Cry. It's quite the winter wonderland where I am right now, so I figured we could hunker down and do a slightly longer episode this time around. Also, because I really want to know what's gonna happen next. It's just getting better and better, I say. Last time, there was some talk on I guess the validity of Beatrice's existence. And then, of course, Canon telling Shannon that she has to break it off with George, or else the witch will kill her on the second twilight. But Shannon said, no, I can't do that. I watched... Oh man. I watched the first episode of the Umineko anime because I was curious, because I knew I have heard that it was not good, so I watched it, you know, out of curiosity. And how they managed to fit about 7 hours worth of gameplay into 20 minutes astounds me. Also, just the way it started, there's about maybe 18 seconds of Kenzo being normal before he has his Beatrice breakdown. When that happens after, like, what, 10 minutes of build-up at the beginning of the game? Safe to say, if I am to watch that again, it will be for comedy purposes, and not any actual substance. Also, the characterization of they cut out a lot of Battler's redeeming qualities, so it just looks like he's a slightly incestuous freak with how he talks to Jessica and then Shannon. Like, it cut out the whole part after he tries to touch Shannon where he's like, wait, no, if a guy does that to you, tell him to stop. Like, it just completely removes that part. It makes them look irredeemable, which, sure, you know what, I think I'm done dwelling on how bad that first episode was. Let's continue this turmoil that we are facing with our favorite servants. I can't remember if I read this last time or not, but I'm gonna read it again. After all, our lives are transient, aren't they? In order to begin our real lives, let's drag ourselves to the Golden Land. Then, we will gain humanity. And when we've done that, maybe I'll be able to experience romance just like you, Nissan. Maybe I won't have to make someone cry just because I'm furniture. Yeah, you got some apologizing to do to Jessica when you actually can. Canon-kun, I've had enough of being furniture. I'll definitely become human. I'll escape this pain, no matter what. There were tears in Cannon's eyes. By now, Cannon had noticed. Shannon hadn't been the only one to know and suffer from the taste of love. He had too. The tears Jessica had shown him that day, and Jessica's pitiful face as she tried to smooth things over and stay bright ever since then, had slowly wrought some kind of change on Cannon's heart without him knowing it. Oh, hey Gidgy. Shannon, I've been calling to you for some time now. Shannon jumped at the sudden sound of Genji's voice. Apparently, he had called for her repeatedly. She hurriedly answered. When she turned back, Cannon had disappeared. It seemed he didn't feel like showing his tears to anybody. Yes. I'm sorry for being careless. I entrusted Cannon with lunch, but it should have been you, as the next in rank after me, who carried it. Beatrice-sama is the most honored guest of this house. There is no more honored guest than her. Please think of her as another master and be polite. Please, it's him. It's him. My worst enemy. Please take extra care that you make no blunders, understand? It is quite painful for me to entrust this to someone as inexperienced as yourself, but there's nothing we can do about the house's rules. Carry out your duties with the utmost of care. Goda had officially agreed, but he glared at Shannon with an expression that told her he definitely wouldn't forgive any mistakes. Well, nobody cares what you think, Goda. Even Shannon felt that Goda might as well go himself if he was so desperate to go. But she considered this one of her responsibilities as one who had been allowed to wear the golden eagle and had to give up. And anyway, I wanted to meet Beatrice. What will I talk about? What will I ask? I don't know. Will this be a meeting of gratitude? Or one of grief? Or else, what? I don't know. Shannon piled the witch's food onto the serving cart and left the kitchen at a slow pace. The person knocking was Kraus. Father, today is our annual family conference. Haven't the siblings gathered here just to get a glimpse of you? Be silent. I say I won't leave. You're there too, aren't you, Genji? Why haven't you had my food brought here as I ordered you to? Kendo screamed across the door. Genji was waiting behind Kraus. Your meal has been prepared so that it might be carried to the study. However, Kraus-sama has expressed his wish that you eat downstairs tonight. Father, I'm not asking you to do this every day. Just for this one night, won't you gather together with your family? Who are you calling family? Since when have you considered vultures circling in wait for roadkill to be family? Would you call rotting, oozing maggots family as well? No. What? I need him to get rid of that smarmy-ass grin. God, I hate this guy. Not as much as Genji, but I still hate him. My. Kraus shrugged at this answer, which he had half expected. Genji, carry the meal here as you were told. Why don't you listen to what I say? Why? Why? Genji-san, I leave this in your capable hands. My voice will no longer reach that man. Kraus gave his head a small shake, then quickly turned his back on the door to the study. He had only come calling to save face in front of his siblings, knowing full well how useless this was. After Genji watched Kraus disappear down the stairs, he called again across the door. Master, we have finished preparations for your meal to be carried here. Shall we bring some for Dr. Nanjo as well? Nanjo could be seen in the study. Because Kendo had forcefully pestered him into finishing their long-lasting chess game, they had been playing against each other since the early evening. Nanjo had announced as the doctor that Kento's days were numbered. So, he couldn't refuse if Kendo demanded that they finish this game while he still lived. Kendo was thinking deeply about his next move, concentrating more than usual. It had been Kenzo's turn for quite some time, and Nanjo, who was tired of waiting, had randomly pulled out a book on magic that he couldn't understand and was skimming it. I get that. I like reading, but there's some books I've tried to read that I just couldn't get into. Like, I did try and read Crime and Punishment many a years ago, but I think it was the names that got me, just all the different names. I had the Count of Monte Cristo at one point in time. I started War and Peace. I think I got about 2 pages into that one. No, I think my favorite kind of book to read as of late is, cheap Western novels. I'm a big fan of, like, the 100 to 200 page, Western novels. They're easy to digest. They're mostly just action. It's not, like, any in-depth plot. It's just, you know, stuff happening. I try to avoid the ones with romance, simply because most of the people writing these books, can't write women. And, I really don't want to read some man's pitiful attempt at trying to write a female character that has, I don't know, agency, a personality. Because I was reading one. It was quite good, actually. It's called Saddle Tramp. I don't remember the author. Oh, Clint Hawkins, I believe. And I was enjoying it. But it got to the part where they're describing one of the characters, and, or, well, the female character, like, the female character. And, I wasn't feeling it. I mean, I'm gonna finish the book, because the plot's quite good, but I'm probably not going to pick up another Clint Hawkins book if I stumble upon it. Regardless, I apologize for my long-winded Western rant. Kenzo-san, you won't think of a good move just by folding your arms and sitting in front of the board. Perhaps we had better take a break and refresh our minds. No, Nanjo, that's too sensical. Oh, I muted it. I muted it and didn't press the spacebar. Be silent. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I just realized, I'm working on a project for something. Costume design, actually. For a play. And part of it is that I, need to borrow an aspect from a visual designer. And the visual designer I chose happened to be, Ryokishi07. I just really like the way that he designs his characters. And I figured, what better way to incorporate that than... Well, what better way to incorporate something than something I'm currently very much into. So, thank you. Thank you, Ryokishi. That should be enough to solidify my defense. Will the bishop and the knight be able to penetrate that opening? Today, Kenzo was focused on maintaining a strong defense. Normally, Kenzo's motto was that offense was the best defense. However, today was completely the opposite. I'm also hungry. Shall we suspend the game here? Besides, I've used my head so much without a break that I'm already feeling dizzy. At this rate, I might not be able to perform at my best. Now, that won't do. In chess, both players must always make their best moves. Any other sort of move is merely a nuisance to consider, ruining a game whose focus is predicting your opponent's thoughts. Such a thing considerably reduces our enjoyment. Kenzo sighed deeply and finally shifted his gaze away from the board. Chess isn't chess without an opponent. That opponent is tired and wants to suspend the game, there's no getting around it. True, the goal of chess is for both players to make the best possible moves and aim for victory. It's an intellectual game where reading your opponent is key. But, Kenzo-san, have you forgotten there's another goal besides victory? What? What other goal could there possibly be? Ha 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 ha. Why the ominous music? To think that you, of all people, would forget something like that. Chess is a way to pass the time having fun with a friend. You know what, sure. If that floats your boat. Sure, that is what chess is meant for. You've got me there. Oh. Does he? Does he got you there? I believe I once said those exact words to you, long ago. Yes, you've got me there. Kinzo, who almost always wore a frown, relaxed his face for once. And laughed. Wasn't that just adorable? He laughed. Pack it up, guys. Everything is right in the world again. Everyone's happy. Nanjo felt like he'd been reunited with a close friend he hadn't seen in ages, and he probably hasn't, and he probably won't in about 2 seconds. But, you know. That's how it is. Now that I've managed to take a shot back at you, what do you say? Will you go down with me and have dinner? Why don't we discuss Kasparov's middle game along with some coffee? Oh, you really thought that was gonna work, Nanjo? He's not gonna go down with you, bro. I don't think. Watch him agree to go down, and I've just made a fool of myself. Oh. Does this mean he's considering it? Does this mean he's about to laugh and be like, ah, you thought you'd get me there? No. An appealing proposition, but I'm afraid I must decline. I can no longer leave this room. She'll get me! She'll get me! After all, the ceremony has already begun. Is that so? Alright then. Well, my stomach is growling. I will go downstairs. Anytime you feel like it. Nanjo. Thank you. Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What is this sudden shift? Oh, what could you be thanking me for? Little old me. We didn't finish our match. However, it seems I have somehow achieved that second goal of chess, which I had forgotten. And it would appear that goal is no less important than achieving checkmate. This isn't like you. Why so sentimental? You said it yourself, did you not? My days in this world are numbered. Now go. And don't come to this room again. Let us continue this match in the Golden Land. The fuck you said to me? Huh? Huh? That's fine with me, but we'll have to start over. Will we? Losing that rook was a serious blow. Well then, I will see you later. Yes, later. Because we're done. Beatrice is gonna kill us. Maybe in the Golden Land or in Purgatory. Or possibly in the next world. Whatever floats your boat, I guess. Nanjo didn't say anything beyond that. He just left the room. He decided enough was enough. And with a motion made smooth by familiarity, he pushed the button on the table that would release the auto lock. Then, after looking at Kinzo's back one last time, he left the study. As he did, Genji's voice came from the hall. If you are ready, master, I will now carry in your dinner. It may be my final dinner. I must savor it. Please prepare it. As you wish. And are your preparations complete as well, master? Indeed. In the time leading up to this day, this room has been carefully wrapped in a multitude of barriers. Even if her roulette chooses me, I will definitely repel it. Oh, so he's cheating! So he's trying to cheat! Oh. Oh. So I'm thinking of the implications of that one in episode 1. I think I saw somewhere that someone's theory was, it could have been anyone's body in the incinerator. While it could have been Kenzo, Kenzo would have had to leave his room if because since no magic could enter, as seen with Beatrice burning her hand. So really it could have been like, I guess, Kraus or Rudolph's body tossed in there, because if the polydactyly, whatever it's called, with the fingers, toes, whatever, if it's hereditary, then Kraus or Rudolph could have it. I will remain alive and will surely become one of those who reach the Golden Land. Okay, yeah, you're just cheating. Beatrice probably doesn't like that. I think she should just smite him right now. I shall repulse the visit of the Reapers trying to drag me off to the land of the dead. Yeah, you're getting sent to Purgatory for that one. Actually, no, not Purgatory, because Purgatory actually seemed like kind of a nice time. Well, before Battler didn't believe. Oh, back to Beatrice. Excuse me. I've come to serve your meal. Shannon entered the VIP room, bowing her head and pushing the serving cart. The young woman by the window, gazing out into the supposedly empty darkness, was definitely that witch. So, it is Shannon this time. How long it's been. Huh. Your face isn't nearly as pale as it once was. I can see you're no canon. I hardly recognize you. This song sounds new. I don't think I've heard this one before. Thank you very much. Shannon solemnly prepared dinner. There were actually several things she wanted to ask the witch, but they were all jumbled up and she didn't know where to start. Her heart was also jumbled up and she didn't even understand her own emotions. So she could only do her job dispassionately with everything still vague. However, the witch saw what was in her heart. You can't hide anything from a witch. I won't apologize. I am a witch, after all. Apologize for what? I know what you and Cannon talked about, dear. Don't forget, I can read minds, whatever, witchy powers I have. I don't quite recall, actually. Come now. Cannon must have told you about it. I only rescued your love life because of my mischievous spirit. It was nothing more than a seed I sowed so I could watch your love grow complicated, become twisted, and fail. I imagine some people think it's more fun to hear about love than to have it. You couldn't possibly be trying to make me... thank me, right? I am. No matter what kind of ulterior motive you had when you gave me the magic of love. It doesn't change the fact that I received it from you. So, even if you sowed that seed knowing that the two of us wouldn't be able to stay together for life, I won't hold a grudge against you. It seems furniture is dull, after all. This is where I show my skill by cooking it into something interesting. I don't understand what you're thinking, Beatrice-sama. You are a great witch, and people like us don't even reach your feet. Nor can we imagine your grand thoughts. But there is at least one thing I can say. What is it? Thank you for teaching me to be human. You said it yourself. I am no longer furniture. Be silent, furniture. If you were a true human, hearing the announcement of your death on the day that you were to receive an engagement ring should have had you dancing around, mad with grief. But what are you doing? Your face looks so enlightened, as though you've accepted everything. Truly an anti-climax, furniture. No, I am not furniture. Be silent, furniture. Maybe if I say it enough times, you'll start to believe it again. I won't be silent, because I'm not furniture. Are you saying you won't obey my orders? Furniture obeys orders, but a human decides for herself whether to obey orders or not. So I won't obey your orders. I take back what I said. You really are interesting. If I hadn't sowed those seeds, you probably would have allowed the ceremony to control your fate without clinging to any emotions. But now you've grown to become something truly interesting. Something that will entertain me to no end. That is well. Oh. For I am not fond of boredom. Dinner is ready. Here you go. Poisoned it. Just kidding. Doesn't this look delicious? If Gota makes it to the Golden Lands, perhaps I shall commission him as my cook. I heard from Canon something about how if I rejected Georgeson's proposal, you promised not to make me a sacrifice. Indeed. And I said as much. You would make an ideal potential sacrifice for the second Twilight, but because Canon cried and screamed asking that I spare you, I graciously listened to his words. With the condition that you abandon your engagement, of course. See how gracious I am? What a foolish offer. What a foolish threat. So you used that to thoroughly bully Canon, did you? Oh. So you comprehend. Apparently Shannon had seen through it. She had apparently guessed at how the witch had bullied and humiliated Canon with that horrible promise as bait. I made him crawl on the carpet and kiss my shoes. And that's not all. Do you want to hear the other ways in which I humiliated him? Shannon silently shook her head. I finally come to understand you. You like to bully, confuse, and trouble people, and you do it to entertain yourself. So now I know for sure the one single way I can resist you. And what might that be? I don't care about you. I'll carry out the fate that has been given to me. That's all. I won't entertain you. I don't care about you? The witch's features twisted in hatred for just an instant. Looks more like fear, actually. Or surprise. It disappeared immediately. but the expression that briefly rose to her face was rare for the witch, whose malicious smile usually never faded for a second. I see. So, you might resist me that way. How amusing. How truly entertaining. I'll kill you. You and your lover both. If that's the fate you've decided upon, do as you will. I won't be afraid, and I won't stand against you. After all, I don't believe that the cruel fate that's coming is controlled by your will. Well, partially is. I mean, she is kind of putting you through this entire thing again for her entertainment, but, you know, it's whatever. We humans know nothing about fates that might come to pass in the future. That's why I'll live to the fullest until the last instant, following my convictions and the fate set before me. Fate is just a roll of the dice. There's no malice in it. Even if you claim there is, I won't believe you. Crazy. Oh. So, even though you've quit being furniture, you have no fear of death. It seems you believe this will bore me, but you couldn't be more wrong. Whoops, my mouse, it keeps jumping out. The thought of seeing whether you can hold on to that view until the last moment merely serves to intrigue me more and more. I can't stand this. Why did you take the form of a human and appear in front of us, speak human words, and ridicule us? If you hadn't appeared in front of us, you wouldn't have you hadn't predicted the future. We would have been able to live life to the fullest until the last moment. That's what witches do. I live off your fates. Reigning as a high-order being does over low-order beings. Your fates are nothing more than fragments. If I cut my hands together, I could scoop out as many of those as I want. Just like how no matter what the beef cows I raise might babble, it doesn't change the fact that I'll be having them for dinner. We are powerless, so we cannot fight against your ceremony of fate. But I can make you unhappy right now. Huh. And how were you planning to accomplish this? By walking away from this place right now. No matter how I respond to your words, it will only amuse you. Refusing to respond to your questions is my only method of resisting you. I see, I see. You might be able to take a shot at me. But you cannot defeat me. Yes. I have the power to kill anyone for eternity. Yeah, her other title is, so it's not only the Golden Witch, but she's also the Endless Witch, right? Isn't that what Bernkastel called her? I cannot wait to see whether you can keep up that resistance in an endlessly repeating cycle of death and rebirth. I mean, I'm already putting someone else through it, so you're not that special in actuality. Don't you forget it, okay? You spoke those words yourself. Damn, it's a cold look from Shannon. Well then, if you will excuse me. If you need anything, please call me. Shannon gave a reserved bow and faced away. With that gesture, maybe she really did take a shot back at the witch, just as Beatrice had said. Because when the witch called out again, she sounded a little more quick-tempered than she had before. Canon thanked me. Can't you? Can't you thank me for bringing you your day of rest? Furniture may be happy when their day of rest comes, but I am a human, so I have nothing to thank you for. Is that all you have to say? You plan to accept George's ring, yes? Don't forget that if you do, I will abandon the promise I made with Canon. The promise that you would not be selected as a sacrifice. If you need anything else, I'll have someone else come. If you'll excuse me. A flat-out interruption. Shannon still hadn't answered her, and the sound of the door closing came instead of an answer. Shannon's resistance probably struck far more deeply into the witch than Shannon herself thought, because an expression of hatred once again rose to Beatrice's face. She had made Canon submit even though he hadn't been ensnared until the end, whereas Shannon, who had been so easily ensnared before, refused to submit this time. I see. So this state of affairs is amusing after all. Perhaps I really am still young. This is why I haven't tired of life after 1,000 years. This was the most fabulous part of the family conference. Dinner. In the past, when Kenzo had been serious about the conference, he'd taken everyone's yearly gathering for dinner very seriously. Any embarrassments during dinner would shame him greatly as the host. So he had given Natsu stern orders to avoid such mishaps at all cost. Because of that, she and Kraus eventually hired Goda, who had confidence in his cooking abilities. Thanks to that, they became able to serve wonderful dinners they could be confident in. But by that time, Kenzo had closed himself up in his study and never appeared for dinner. Maybe you could call that ironic. When the main dish for tonight, calf steak, was set out, Goda began to describe it proudly, further stimulating everyone's appetites. The sauce here is bordelaise. I hate this guy. Was dinner in the first episode also calf steak? I can't recall. Of course, the red wine base I used was excellent, even among those made in Bordeaux, but in addition, I prepared an original blend of this house. A blend of choice alcohol from around the world to further deepen the taste. This sauce is limited to this year. I sincerely hope you all enjoy your meal. Isn't that wonderful? However, isn't bordelaise sauce common to French cooking? It almost seems like using alcohol from outside France with that is heresy. Kraus-sama, leave the cooking to me. Today is the annual family conference. As a dinner for those who normally live far away and who have traveled far from across the world to gather together. I realized it would be most fitting to have a sauce made from a blend of fine alcohols from all over the planet that have never met each other before. So I had it specially prepared. Wonderful. A truly wonderful cook. That's what you are. Food and medicine work twice as well if you sell it right. It's already twice as delicious as normal food, and the advertising makes it twice as good as that. The taste keeps doubling and doubling. Come on, Nissan. That question of yours was obviously a plant. No doubt about it. You totally set Goda-san up to steal the show on that one. You think so? I thought there might be some people here who didn't notice that today's food was in the French style. After all, Ava just said that avoiding butter was a virtue, but that's the Spanish style. Well, I guess they do share a border, right? Yeah. I'm glad you know your geography, Kraus. That's not what I meant. Will you please not take a part of the conversation out of context and make stuff up? It's a very delicious sauce. Goda-san, you certainly are amazing. Oh, it's dinner time. That's right. After dinner, it was Rosa that got the dinner letter, didn't she? It is a great honor to receive your praise, and this is all thanks to Madam's habitual guidance. No, it was all Goda's idea. I only listened to the recipe and approved of it. You know, Battler really wasn't lying last episode when he said he was taking a back seat. It looked like the siblings quickly got into a loud argument about the sauce, but for the most part, dinner proceeded peacefully. However, a certain question they desperately wanted to ask burned inside each one of them. It's about that visitor, the 19th person, the Golden Witch. In actuality, Ava and Rudolph and the rest were very much on their guards during this meal. The mystery guest was ever going to be introduced, this dinner table would be the most appropriate place to do it. I suppose. However, no place was set at the dinner table for the witch. The family conference would begin in earnest after the meal, and previous experiences told them that it might last until deep into the night. However, they couldn't imagine why such a person should be kept until that late, if they were going to be introduced in the end anyway. Yeah? So Ava and Rudolph and the rest were starting to feel a certain suspicion. Perhaps this guest was unknown even to Kraus. If this wasn't an assassin called by Kraus to give him an advantage in the inheritance problem, then maybe they should speak frankly to Kraus beforehand, creating a common front to resist anything disadvantageous to the four siblings. Oh gosh, I love saying words. If she was Kinzo's assassin, whose purpose was to keep the inheritance from being handed over to the four siblings. Oh, sorry, yawn. The enmity between Kraus and the other siblings could only become a weak point that benefited the enemy. Well then, please enjoy at your leisure. When he finished explaining the reasoning behind the table setting and the cooking, oh, I dropped the ball. Goda tried to leave the room, but Kiri called him to a stop with a small voice. Okay. Yes, Kiri-sama. What is it? Please excuse me. I was under the impression we had company today, but can we expect to be joined at the dinner table? She had planned on saying it nonchalantly, but unfortunately, it reached the ears of Natsuhi, who was sitting in the next seat over. It seemed that Natsuhi had heard it as, even though the guests are here, why hasn't the host come to dinner? No, Natsuhi, no! No, that's not it, Natsuhi! Ooh, a little tired, huh? In other words, that Kiri had asked whether Kinzo was going to join them for dinner. The family head is not at his best, so he said he would take his dinner in his study. I believe my husband explained that in the beginning. I'm sorry, that's not who I was talking about. That's not what I meant. Natsuhi's reaction instantly told Kiri that this unknown visitor was also unknown to Kraus and his wife. Which meant, on the chessboard inside Kiri's mind, she could hear the clattering of the pieces as they rearranged themselves. Ooh. What do you mean, we have company? Oh, Battler. Little buddy. Always out of the loop. Battler, who had been sitting next to Natsuhi, seemed to have heard Kiri's words without misunderstanding them. Thinking it strange that someone else would be invited to today's family conference, he spoke up incredulously. And thanks to that, the uncomfortable feeling building in the siblings' chest suddenly exploded. Everyone looked at Goda at the same time. Judging by their reactions, it was clear that no one here had invited that mystery woman. Good, make him squirm. For an instant, Goda was startled to find everyone's gazes gathered on him. But because of his naturally vain personality, this actually gave him a feeling of superiority. Therefore, he answered in an extremely calm and graceful manner. That is correct. Our guest wanted to eat alone in the VIP room and is being served there. That extremely graceful and reasonable response of Goda's made it obvious to everyone that a 19th person, a visitor, existed. The VIP room? A guest? Why was I not informed of this? Who are you talking about? Natsuhi's words echoed the question that everyone who didn't know about the appearance of the Golden Witch was thinking. For a while, Goda was disoriented, caught completely off guard by this sudden interrogation. This was a guest who had been treated with such deep respect. He hadn't imagined that Kraus and his wife might not even know about her. The guest is, Beatrice-sama. Beatrice! See? Beatrice came! Maria had been telling the other cousins over and over again that she had met Beatrice that day. The cousins had answered flippantly, but they hadn't believed. So their eyes grew wide. Sorry, repeat? Beg pardon? I totally thought you were joking, Maria. So she really was there. By Beatrice, you mean that Beatrice with the gold? Oh, I've been saying she exists the whole time. No one believes. Sorry, Maria-chan, that's not how we meant it. After learning that everyone had doubted Beatrice's existence, Maria, who had been in a good mood all day, completely lost her temper. Oh man. George, who sat in the next seat over, tried to frantically calm Maria. Goda. Is this some sort of dinner entertainment? Because if so, you're fired! Quite a performance. Aniki, quit playing dumb. You called her here, right? Called? Called whom? From where? Nissan, let's be clear about this. Who is she? Surely you aren't going to tell us that really is the Beatrice from that portrait, right? I don't have a clue what you people are talking about. Goda, you really aren't joking, right? Well. I was just ordered by Genji-san, Genji? Genji's in on it too? Call for Genji! Immediately! When Natsuhi yelled, Goda sped out into the hallway. Good. God, I want to beat that guy. I want to just like... Sorry, I just hate that guy. The sound of the door being thrown open was the spark that suddenly set the dinner table ablaze. So you're saying you're in the dark too, Aniki. Who called her? Was it Dad? I don't know anything about this. It seems you people think I've been pulling the strings behind the scenes, but that's a huge misunderstanding. Calm down, Kraus-Nissan. We've gone past the stage of skirmishing with each other. If you're saying even you don't know this mystery person, then something crazy's going on. Hideyoshi-san, can't you be a little more discreet with your words? My husband would not invite unnecessary people to the family conference. Obviously. What are you people talking about? Are you saying the witch of the portrait has broken out of her frame and appeared? It's not as though anyone's actually met this witch face to face. I met her. Ava and Rudolph nodded at Rosa's proclamation. I met her too. Uncle Crass, believe it. Believe Mama. The brief tension was broken, and Maria also started to make a ruckus. By now, the room was thoroughly wrapped in chaos. I don't have a clue what's going on. So, what does it mean? Does it mean the witch who gave Grandfather the gold is showing up as a special guest this year? But is that really true? Rosa didn't see it wrong, did she? I met her too! Hoo 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 hoo! Aunt Rosa, are you sure? Yes. Maria and I met her, and we even talked to her. I met her. That was definitely a witch. Believe me. I definitely didn't see it wrong or hallucinate or anything. What on earth was that? In the instant before the typhoon arrived, Rosa definitely met a witch in the rose garden. But the scene had been so hard to accept as truth that the more she spoke of it like this, the less she understood what it was she had encountered. Ironically, since she was losing her composure, the more frantically she tried to cling to her claim, the more confused and hazy the thing she was describing became. Because of that, it took only a single, calmly spoken sentence to confirm the nature of what she was describing beyond doubt. Yep, I met her too. I also met with her. I couldn't really call it that. I exchanged a few words with her. It's definitely not something that Rosa-san just saw wrong. Kiri-san, are you serious? Yes, but she didn't tell me her name, so I can't say for certain that she was Beatrice. However, and sorry if this is subjective, but since I met her in the entrance hall, I was able to compare her face with the portrait. My first impression was that this portrait has to be hers. This is all just subjective. That isn't possible. In the first place, where did that woman come from? The only boat arriving today was the one that brought all of you here. Was she on that boat? Well, it's hard to say for sure. Of course, I don't remember any woman like that getting off the boat with us. Oh, is that all? Can you prove there wasn't a boat besides the one we rode on? You can't. You can't prove one didn't arrive. Makes sense. If another boat did arrive, it might be possible to prove it. If someone saw it and said they didn't saw it. See it? Didn't see it? Saw it and didn't see it? Then you're done. But it's impossible to prove that such a boat didn't arrive. Even if everyone says that no such boat arrived, that they didn't see it arrive, you can't prove that it didn't arrive secretly. Did it arrive? I'm not quite clear on if it arrived or not, actually. It's that thing they call a devil's proof. It'd be simple to prove that devils exist. All you have to do is meet a devil. But it's impossible to prove that devils don't exist. Just by saying that no one has ever met a devil, you can't deny the possibility that they're hiding away somewhere humans can't go. You can't deny the existence of aliens for exactly the same reason. Until humanity searches the whole of space and can show perfectly that aliens don't exist, you can't be sure that they don't exist. And it's definitely impossible for us to ever check the entirety of space for the existence of aliens. Therefore, while there may be a number of ways to prove that aliens do exist, it will always be impossible to show proof that denies their existence. So, any discussion about there being a second boat would just be a waste of our time. She wasn't on the boat with us. That much is a fact, so she must have arrived on this island through some other means. That's right. There may be no need to discuss how she came here. What's important is that she's actually in this mansion now and doesn't feel like having dinner with us. Okay, let's review. Right now, there's another guest on this island other than the 18 people with the Ushirmiya family. And this is a guest even Aniki and Natsu-san don't know about, right? I know nothing. I don't know what you're talking about. Be silent for now. Don't tell your wife to shut up, bitch. Your headache will get worse. It is as my wife says. I have no idea what you people have been talking about up until now. Then there can only be one there can only be one answer. You know what? Father called her here for today's family conference. For the family conference? Again, why? I don't know that. I'm questioning you because I thought you might know. Ava, could you give it a rest? Kraus-Nissan said he doesn't know. So here's what we've got. Father stealthily invited the Witch of the Portrait as a secret guest. And she met with Rosa-san and Maria-chan and then Kiri-san. That's all for now. She has something to say to us. She could just show herself right away. Now we've got to wonder why she shut herself up without greeting us. Does this mean Dad, who never gave a crap about this family conference in the first place, secretly called a new mistress here? And had her wear the clothes of his ideal witch? This day's too important for that explanation to fly. There can be only one reason. To join in on the family conference. She wants to claim some right to Father's inheritance. Ridiculous. The family head wouldn't have something as filthy as a mistress. I told you to be quiet. I've lived in this mansion with Father all this time, and I've never heard a thing about something like that. If we stretch plausibility to the limit and assume Father had an illegitimate child with some mistress decades ago, then maybe Father searched her out and called her here today. Is that what you're trying to say? Dear, it's absurd to think Father has such a child. To waste the noble blood of the Ushimiya family on a mistress. This is nothing more than a few people making wild claims. It's obviously a fantasy, a delusion, a daydream. Or is everyone taking part in some kind of act to trick my husband? What act? If anyone's acting, it's you. Quit it, Aneki. Natsu-san may be a bit over-vehement, but she's right. Kiri saw her. I didn't. Neither did you, Aneki. But Rosa did. But that means she exists. There are people who can prove she exists, so we're sure right away that she does. It's the opposite of a devil's proof. And I want to meet her too. I want to ask her directly what kind of business she has with the Ushimiya family. I agree with you on that. I do indeed wish to inquire as to what business she has on Rokenjima. Don't play dumb. There's only one thing she could be after. Father's inheritance. We should work out our future plans with a lawyer who's hot on inheritance issues. If the mistress claims equal rights as mother, then our shares will be cut right in half. You know, a few months back, I got recommended this image. It's Umineko. I don't think it's a spoiler in the slightest. It just looked like an edit over a meme, but it's like so incomprehensible. But it's been one of my favorite things to quote. Let me know if anyone else has seen the add Butterfinger to Rokenjima picture, because God, that thing gets me every time. I don't understand the context, or no, I don't understand the original meme. But God, it is the funniest thing. To me, at least. Wait a second, everybody. Genji-san will come very soon. He knows everything. I'm sure he'll answer our questions. Until then, let's all stop talking about this. Hey, you, kids. Sorry, but the adults have to start talking about something complicated. Return to the guest house. Rosa yelled at the children, slightly overcome with emotion. The children didn't understand why they were suddenly being yelled at this time, but Ava and the rest realized it too late. They were talking so bluntly about the filthy topic of the inheritance right in front of the children. Of course, they wouldn't want their children to remain. So they all immediately agreed with Rosa's plan. That's right, just as Rosa-san says. George, take all the cousins and go back to the guest house. You all play nice together. George, do as you're told. Take all of the cousins and leave right now. Hey, you gotta read the letter out. Everyone needed to be gathered for that one. Wait a second, Mother. I'm an adult, actually. We still haven't finished eating. Hoo-hoo! And dessert hasn't even come yet. Ooh. We will have Goda-san take dessert to the guest house. So leave. Jessica, from here on, the adults will be talking together. Go. Sure. Even though I'm still eating. Guess I'll go. Well, guess I won't be the only exception. Thanks for understanding, Battler-kun. But you sure are lucky. Huh? Why? I'd want to leave if I could. I bet. I'll let you adults enjoy your happy family chat about the inheritance. I will also leave my seat. Sure. That's, sure, why not? You can go ahead. At any rate, it appears my turn will not come tonight. Nanjo quietly rose to his feet. From his seat in the farthest corner, he had been calmly watching the whole discussion without butting in. Surely, that reaction of his was very adult, just what you'd expect of a calm, old gentleman. When Nanjo rose from his seat, it ended up encouraging the others who were supposed to leave. The children noisily rose from their seats, and as they hurried into the hallway, the servants returned. I apologize for taking so long. I have called Genji. I was checking to see that all the doors and windows were shut, so it took me some time. My apologies. Come on, children, to the guest house. Goda-san, my apologies, but could you carry the children's portion of the dessert to the guest house? Is that what you wish? Seemed Goda wasn't amused to see the dinner he'd worked so hard on interrupted like this. He'd sent Natsu a look as though asking her whether that was really okay. Do as Rosa-san says. And it will not be necessary to set out dessert for us. Do not approach the dining hall until we call for you. Tell the rest of the servants to do the same. Understood? Yes, as you wish. Come, everyone. Shall we go? Maria-san, you mustn't trouble your mother anymore. I want to talk about Beto too! No! Maria-chan, could you tell us about Beatrice in the guest house? I really want to hear about the witch. Okay? You're pretty darn smooth, George-san. I'm impressed. Are you sure you don't have kids? You're too used to this. And George's words had completely restored Maria's good mood, and now she took the initiative, telling the others to head on to the guest house. It looked like Goda didn't like being kicked out himself, but he couldn't disobey Natsu, so he left the room with Battler and the rest, closing the door. Is there some way I might be of service, everyone? Yeah, there sure is. We've got a whole bunch of questions. In fact, every one of us does. So much that we almost want to have a lottery to see who gets to ask first. But no matter who wins the first lottery, the first question will be the same, won't it? That's right. Genji-san, answer me honestly. Who is this person called Beatrice in the VIP room right now? No, don't shut me out! Don't shut me out! Stop. Are we getting a clock? Oh, we are getting a clock. You know, I wanted to do a longer episode, but this seems like such a natural ending point. I feel a bit hurtful to do such a cruel thing after I promised, but then again, I might break my my every Sunday upload, and I could probably film one tomorrow, but I don't want to start and then, you know, stop at a worse point. So I think I will actually end it here. Man, it was very enlightening though. I mean, yeah, she's here. Shannon is awesome and cool, and I guess they're figuring out what Beatrice is intending to do. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate it, and I hope you enjoyed. I will see you guys next time. Hope you have a good day. Bye!